This episode is recorded in Morgan Vision for your viewing pleasure.
There can be only one.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. All out of bubblegum.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Cinema Royale.
Hello, welcome to Cinema Royale. I am Mike X Tape, and along with me are my awesome cinema aficionados. I forgot the next word.
Film aficionados. Here with?
Let me say the names of the person I'm going to introduce. So first up, we might as well talk about our favorite Canadian of the hour, Animat, also known as Matt Brunet.
Hey guys! As you can see, I'm not wearing my hat right now, but I kind of have a replacement, as you could tell.
And next up on the plate is James Sullivan, also known as Jaime Toad.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Cascade Ice. It's only 1% juice, 99% mystery fluid.
Don't drink it. You might die. Oh, you drank. Oh, you're gonna die.
Oh, dude.
It's poison in a bottle.
Don't you know what else they milked for that thing?
Oh, God. We need to call 911. Okay, and last but not least, our humble East Coast friend, Morgan Ledger.
Greetings, everybody, and for those of you who can see this episode in Japan, we are officially in 4D. 4 screens, 4 dimensions, and flying out at you in dimensions unfathomable.
And you can also smell us, too.
Smell-o-vision? I didn't know that was invented yet.
Yeah, all I just do is just scratch the screen, take a good whiff, and...
Oh, that's perfect. I actually washed today.
Wait, I just took a shower, too, so...
Oh, yeah, so did I.
Smells like Ohio.
I'm not even bio. Oh, how do you smell Ohio from California?
The same way, have you ever stepped off an airport into an airport in Texas?
Oh.
You move from one state to another, and you can smell the difference.
Oh, wow.
Well, at least the stars are big and bright, right? Right?
Anyways, let's get the show on the road here with this episode 28. 2 more episodes until 30 episodes.
Yay!
Just keep on drinking, James. Just waste your life away with that junk. So this is the first time this episode we're going to look back at the old episode topic, because we didn't talk about a lot about the topic, and it's sequels, resurrection, sequels with a vengeance.
Mike mixtape. Did you talk about season 4 in the second episode?
No,
Sequels go to...
Sequels again?
Actually, it was the 3rd episode, smartass.
You forgot. Sequels 4 in space, sequels go to hell, and sequels take Manhattan.
Oh, you forgot sequels, the reboot takes a vacation. With Jason.
And don't forget, sequels do it again harder. Actually, that sounds horribly wrong. Jesus.
Sequels, Electric Boogaloo.
I was just going to say that one.
Sequels 2, sequel harder. How does that work?
Sequel 6, Martin's Day.
Sequels,
Live
part
for your
6.
sequels. It's a good day to have a sequel.
Okay, so who wants to bat off with the sequel? Actually, wait. Who wants to start first off?
Well, I guess I could cover the history of sequels in general.
Alright.
The funny thing is, back then in the 20s and 30s, there were such things as sequels, but they were more like one-off kind of things. And then you had the obvious being the Universal monster films, which is, you can argue, is the earliest form of the sequel in general, or the franchise, where you had Dracula and then House of Dracula, Dracula's Daughter, the Frankenstein series with Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, Ghost of Frankenstein, House of Frankenstein, the Wolfman films, which were only like two or three, and then you had the Creature films, and
Frankenstein swinging pad.
Young Frankenstein. And it was always a risk doing sequels in general because you knew they weren't going to live up to the hype of the original. They were sort of just there. Sorry, I'm recording something at the same time to a disc. Um, Sequels sort of existed either as A, a cash cow, or B, as a follow-up because the first one was popular, so we gotta have something
Isn't
following up
that
here.
kind of the same thing? Like, because
Well,
it's popular, you want to make more money out of it, so it's
yeah,
kind of a
yeah.
cash cow.
And then there's also the idea of potential, like how farther can we continue the story? Like, say, the Alien franchise is a good example. It's like, okay, how can we outdo the first one? Let's expand more on the characters, the universe in general, the xenomorphs and stuff like that. The earliest time they ever had an official franchise would be with the Planet of the Apes movies, where they had
Hmm.
Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Escape, Conquest, and Battle, and they had to stop at five because they felt if we make any more of these things, it's going to get expensive. And then they made a crappy
I thought it
TV show, and
was,
the rest is
I
history.
thought it was because like it would jump the shark.
It already
Eh,
did that.
pretty much. So,
But
in
now we have
terms,
like the reboots, like that would technically be in canon, like Rise, and then
mm,
oh, Dawn, the upcoming Dawn. I just had it.
yes, yes, I'm actually
I just
excited
had
to see that one.
Don't you
Same
just
here.
love trying to make sense of it all?
But yeah, in terms of sequels, they've been around for quite a long time, even in books and comics in general. Like when you think of a Sunday strip, there's always a follow-up to that Sunday strip in general, so it goes beyond the further than that. But we're here to talk about films in general, and some of them work, some of them don't work, some of them are half okay, and some of them have a weird, weird history being put together, but that's Superman 2 for you.
Mhm.
I just managed to shoot 80% of Superman 2. Go back to work on the first movie. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da. It's a big hit. I want more money for the sequel. Can't let you do that. Come on, Richard Lester. Let's make it funnier and campier.
Oh jeez.
That's the whole story in a nutshell.
Oh god.
And if they had more money, Marlon Brando would have been on it too.
Oh
Ooh.
jeez.
And then the Richard Donner cut happened, and much fan
Yeah.
aggravation happened. But sequels have this one-off chance of being either as good as the first one or not as good as the first one. And I think Muppets Most Wanted parodied that very, very well in the song.
Hmm.
How they're very aware that the follow-up is not as good as the first one, even though its attempts are there. But to be fair, the way I see it, sequels only work if they actually either expand more upon the characters of the first film or in some way try to outdo the first feature. And there's plenty of good examples, plenty of bad examples, so
Hmm.
might as well get to it.
Yeah. Yeah. If I can just add into that, is that not like you covered the history, but the one thing that people don't really notice is that there are many different types of sequels,
Ooh.
where like it's not just like it's mostly they're categorized to why they are made in the first place. Of course, a lot of people can easily spot like the cash cow, like oh they made this just so they can easily cash into it. But there's actually a lot more than that. Some sequels are made because like they're based on a book series, like if you look at book franchises like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Twilight, The Hunger Games, they all had sequels to the books, so they're pretty much adapting to each one of them. And then there are those that like Morgan's sleeping, but anyways,
Well, I'll be back.
okay. There are some sequels that are made to pretty much like what Morgan said, to expand the world that is in the movie, like to expand who the characters are, or to expand like the world that they live in, just to shake things up a bit. And then there's also the sequels in which try to one up itself, like pretty much try to do what the first movie did, try like capture the spirit of what made it good, and then suddenly make it even bigger. Try to make it that's what it's all about. You want this is what you get, but 10 times bigger. And then there are there are those bad sequels that I like to call that franchise. Now, what I mean by that franchise are those are like you see them making sequel after sequel and it doesn't seem to stop. They're like zombies coming towards you and you try to keep shooting at it, but all you can do is just shout out, "Why won't you die?" And some good examples include the Michael Bay Transformers movies. Now that they're coming out with Transformers 4 with dinosaurs. Pirates of the Caribbean. There are discussions. There might be doing a fifth one, and especially the Ice Age movies. And these are just a few examples.
Oh, you are just barely scratching the surface there.
No,
I got a
yeah.
perfectly good. I got a perfectly good example of what happens when somebody even underground tries to make a franchise. And this is what happens.
It's
is
a
that?
blurry DVD cover.
What is that?
It's the entire Puppet Master collection.
Oh,
Yeah,
Puppet Master.
Our good old
Puppet
buddy
Master?
Charles Band is at it again.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh
Yes,
dear.
Charles Band, the man who's sort of a master of straight-to-video horror. As you can see, I got this for Christmas, and I haven't even opened it up yet, but I will.
It's May and you have not opened it. Oh my gosh.
Charles Band also,
Yes.
Charles Band also did kids films too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yes.
I'm gonna open this
Just
up
throwing
right
I'm aware of
right
that.
now and
Freeze
just show
stereo,
you.
that shot.
You having issues with
I'm
that?
gonna open,
Need some help over there?
No.
I'm gonna open this up right now for
We got
everybody.
screwdrivers.
I got
so
my
we
son.
can.
We it's
It's simple. We can help you out.
Wait, let me check if I have anything.
We're not gonna say that.
I don't think I got. I don't think I got anything so far. I'll find it later.
But as
Okay.
wait, so you got it now?
Yes, I got it now.
Okay.
And just to show you how manufactured this stuff is. Okay. Look at it. Just look. They got 5 movies crammed onto this one DVD here. It's a 3 DVD set.
What?
Jeez.
Oh my gosh! I never heard of
3
that.
DVDs.
all right. I gotta top this one.
Oh god.
Okay, with
Oh,
Keep
my-
going.
Yeah, keep.
and
Keep it going.
Let more.
and I almost forgot to mention the Killjoy movies are on here too, 1 through 3. But they have every Puppet Master film up until Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys in this collection, which is a shame because I actually liked that one because it had Corey Feldman in it.
Oh, of course.
Long live Corey.
Yeah.
Yay.
And
Please never say die.
no, neither do their. Well, enough said there. But in any case, the reason why I say this is a terrific example of something that will just not end is that there's, as you can see, you see the problem here? There's too damn many of them.
No.
I mean, I sat back and I had a session of watching. I had a glorious session of watching the Puppet Master Saga, not on DVD but as DVD rips. And while I admit some of them got a little bit better, it's a terrific series to sleep to. I mean, if you need to just pop something in and have the TV running, and just jump right in bed there and keep going. It'll put you right to sleep. It's guaranteed. So yeah.
Night night, puppet master.
Mhm.
And speaking of Corey Feldman, at least you get to watch your movies. There's a problem with my Friday the 13th collection.
Oh.
Ooh.
I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first one, classic. Second one, a little bit better. Third one's a guilty pleasure in 3D. Fucking love the fourth movie. Corey
Ooh.
Feldman as a psycho. It doesn't get any better than that. And he gets to kill Jason. Die! Tommy, no! Tommy, no! Die! Then Crispin Glover dance. My point is, you get to see those movies. Oh, yeah,
boy.
it comes with it comes with the 3D glasses.
Oh.
Here's the problem. Can you tell how many discs are here?
One.
Just lift it up.
A la peanut butter sandwiches.
Oh.
God.
I've never seen that either. I've seen it oh my god.
Abraca Hocus.
Oh my god.
Wow.
And I shall make a British asshole appear.
Are you serious? It's oh my god. It's a Friday the 13th sandwich.
So, in order to see the final chapter, my favorite one of the bunch, I have to
Cake.
put number 3. I have to go through number 3. Oh, that's the other problem too. These can't fall over; they scratch easily. Who cares? I got part 3 on Blu-ray anyway as a backup.
Why not? Go on.
This was at Walmart for like $9.99. That's how bad this is. See, look, this is the problem. It's a freaking stack. You don't do that. I can tolerate the flip disc on the Blues Brothers DVD and a few others, but really? A
Why don't you-
pancake stack? It's like IHOP all over again.
I've never seen that before. I've seen Disney doing 2 of them at the same time, but never that. But also, another thing I suggest.
Yeah. Let me just.
Why don't you just put them in your favorite order? Like you put the final chapter on top, and the rest you don't want to watch it in the bottom.
Because they're all good and they're very coherent. I don't care. I'm like that. I'm very OCD-ish when it comes to my movies, but see this? Disney's classics.
Oh wait, what classics are there?
There's Derby O'Gill, No Mobile, Family Band, and The Happiest Millionaire.
See,
Last 2 I've never seen or heard of.
This is how you do DVD cases.
Yes.
Yes.
At least this company knows what they're doing. These astral fuckernauts want to layer it on.
Friday the
Shame on
13th
you.
in association with IHOP.
At least number 6 is not stacked on it like that, or otherwise I'd start suing.
Oh god, the entire collection like that.
Oh god, you're like a stack of.
Oh.
Oh my god. But before
It would be one killer DVD collection.
Yeah, Friday the 13th is another example of a series that kept coming and coming and coming. Even after the final chapter, they made a few others.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my guilty pleasure, to say the least, because they keep going in different directions. Like, first, they have, spoiler alert, Jason's mother in the first film being the killer. Second one, they actually focus on the son. Third one, he gets the hockey mask. Fourth one, supposedly it's the final chapter.
Yep.
Fifth one, it's not even Jason. Go figure. Sixth one, Jason's a zombie. Seventh one, he goes against Carrie. Eighth one, he goes on a boat. Then he goes to Vancouver, which is masked up to look like New York. Ninth one, he supposedly goes to hell, and and it's sort of like, okay, it's one of those where
I thought the 10th one he goes to space.
yes, he goes to space in the 10th one.
Yeah.
Jason X.
Jason X.
Yeah.
This sucks on so many levels. Um, anyway, the thing with that franchise is that, yes, you really want it to end somewhere, but you just can't help it. Some of the entries are like episodes of a TV show. Some you like, some you don't like. And it's one of those that, yeah, it really needs to end somewhere, but you gotta admit the creativity is there.
Well, the thing is that with horror films, the reason why you see so many sequels of those classic franchises, whether it be Friday the 13th, um, what else? Crap.
Halloween.
Halloween,
Halloween, yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, or
Camera.
even recent films like Saw, or like any of that. One of the big things, like one of the big selling points, is to see the people getting killed, like all the many different creative ways, and that, or in some cases, some like in Friday the 13th, they would like to try to expand like the lore of like Jason, or like some others would like to expand the lore of some of the other characters, or even like in Child's Play, they would like to try to go and develop Chucky in a sense. But a lot of them is that the biggest, yeah, but the thing is that it's not really about making a sequel to develop the story, or like to make a sequel in the traditional sense. Is to find many other creative ways to kill the people. That's why you see in many horror films you don't really care much for the main characters. You always see like it's the same ditzy girls, or like the dumb couple. It's like, oh my god, why don't we go down and have a party?
Yeah.
It's a,
Would you like to have a beer, or would you like to smoke some pot,
Yeah, there's a
or we
lot.
can
Would
have
you like-
Why don't we
premarital
have
sex?
sex in a dark room?
We love
I'm sure
premarital
nobody's gonna
sex.
come here.
There's a lot of cliches in those films.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, regardless of anyone's opinion on Jason X, that was the best scene in the film.
hands down. The
But,
only best scene in the film, followed with the best kill of the entire movie.
Yeah.
The
Is it-
sleeping
which
bag
was
death.
which was the recreation of another previous death.
Yeah.
I remember I saw an episode on Mythbusters. They tried to recreate that scene in Jason X where like I think Jason freezes a girl's head in like liquid nitrogen or something, and like
Yes.
smashes it.
Smashes it, yeah.
I think they prove it to be false or something, or I don't know. Like you would break, like it definitely kills you. Like you, it'll be broken, but not like glass.
Yeah.
Not like it was in the movie.
Yeah.
No,
What did they
yeah.
do? Take a corpse and just freeze its face?
They
This
normally
is-
do use it like a dummy with
Yeah, they use like no, they use like pig, like a pig. No, yeah, they use a pig's head.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, it was a pig's head. They usually do that.
This is why we need Tom Savini to get in the business, or Rob
Oh,
Button.
But-
yeah.
So while we're on the subject of one type of sequel, I'd like to pinpoint another genre, because not just much as I love cheesy horror films and their cheesy horror sequels. Last night, I think I saw something that was a bit of a game changer. I finally broke open a couple of nights ago. I finally broke open my Jack Ryan collection, which yes. Here's a little something you need to know about me. You may have seen this poster on my wall before.
It was in the Christmas Carol episode.
Oh yeah, yeah, that poster.
Oh yeah.
Yes, The Hunt for Red October. Little story behind me in that film. I had actually never finished watching it until just a couple of nights ago, and it took me it took me a while to get through it, to finish it off, because I was actually literally fighting to stay awake. And I know that's a surprise probably, but I was like slapping myself and trying to stay awake to get through this the end of this movie. I didn't make it.
Aw.
Oh.
And
Fat Grandma can help you next time with that.
and I
Just put me on the side. I'll tell you one of my stories instead of that story that's on the TV.
and so I'm just watching this like this is the director of Die Hard and the DP, and they managed to put me to sleep with something. And don't get me wrong, the movie's not bad. It's just it's just sort of adequate.
Mm.
And the reason why I keep that poster up there is because I like Sean Connery.
Okay.
So every time I'm thinking to myself in my room, and I'm looking for advice, I look up and I see the judgmental face of Sean Connery peering down at me, and my decision is made. But the reason why I bring this up though is because last night I saw Patriot Games, which is the second Jack Ryan film. And I said, oh my God, this is better. Oh, this is better.
Way too clear and present danger.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Willem Dafoe's in it.
Oh, Willem Dafoe's in it. Well, is he playing Dafoe?
It varies on your taste.
Yeah. Does Willem Dafoe play Dafoe in the film?
Is Willem a Dafoe or is Willem a defriend?
Yes.
I'm gonna say defriend.
Ah.
If I remember correctly.
William Dafoe.
William Dafoe? William defriend. I love those memes. They're
Dafoe!
He was the bro in Life Aquatic.
Anyways, I'm carrying on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Patriot Games. If there's a theme that the Jack Ryan films are trying to grasp at this point, I think Patriot Games really set forth that theme. I was thinking to myself, why did they call it Patriot Games? Well, the idea of patriotism drives everybody in the movie. For those of you who are not familiar with the plot of the film, it's Jack Ryan, 50-something middle-aged man working for the CIA, rescues. He foils an assassination attempt on the Prime Minister, and by an Irish terrorist organization. And for the rest of the film, he has Sean Bean coming after him. So that's not a very good, fun thing to have, Sean Bean coming after you. But in any case, the reason why I say it has an idea of what it's supposed to be doing is patriotism is a big deal here. It drives everyone's decision. Jack Ryan, as a CIA operative, obviously loves his country. Obviously, will side with his country, and that's what he's devoted to. Sean Bean, as an Irish terrorist, he's fighting for the Irish people. He doesn't like the UK.
We're the villains
sorry.
because we're not American.
This is what you get for driving us out and making Halloween 3.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
how come we don't have any Canadian villains actually?
Oh,
My
Canadian
Bloody
villain.
Valentine. Oh, ooh,
Indian
ooh.
film.
Hmm.
Well,
Well,
we
well,
have some.
there was South Park, bigger,
Yeah.
longer, uncut, but
Oh, good point.
I guess
But
you got. I guess we're too nice to make a movie to make like a movie based around it.
ooh. There was the Canadian newscasters in Anchorman 2, but that was very last minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Spoiler alert, Jim Carrey, but go
Oh,
on,
there's
James.
Argo. Argo.
Oh
Technically,
Oh,
yeah, Argo, yeah.
Argo, the Canadian saved the day. Technically,
Yeah.
no,
and if I could, uh, I'll just sum up a little bit. The rest of it, some characters, minor characters in the film, uh, from whatever country that they're coming from, especially the Irish, they don't want to rat out their own people, but if they have the chance to rat anybody else out, they'll do it. And in a sense, an extension. This is interesting. In an extension, they rat out their own people, but you have to sort of see the film in order to understand that.
Mm.
And I thought it was much better at conveying that idea by explaining it. And the issue with the issue that I have with A Hunt for Red October is that this is the pacing. And here's actually, if you add in one kill in the beginning and one kill in the end, it's kind of like.
it's a line that
it's
kind of like a line. It's like a snail with a hiccup.
It's
It's like the health meter.
yeah.
Yeah.
and if you did the same thing with if you put the same analogy with Patriot games, it's like a heart rate monitor. You know, the pacing goes action up, action up, action up, action up, action up. It knows how to pace itself and pace it, and that way it knows when at what moments to settle in on the story and focus on uh, expanding in the characters, expanding in the universe, setting things up, doing all the important things that you have to do in order to have a climactic scene, and then it knows where to toss in the exciting parts. I mean, there's a car. I'm not going to give this away, but there is a car accident halfway through the film, and the the relationship of the people in the car accident with regards to Jack Ryan. I'll just say that they're very important to him, and it is one of those moments where they have the option of going the Death Wish route with it or a more realistic route with it. And the route that they took, it made sense, and it was acted well. It was beautifully directed. Check it out if you've never heard of it or seen it before. Patriot Games. I'm going to recommend that as a sequel.
Hmm.
Oh, and by the way, James, I just briefly looked on Clear and Present Danger. You know a character by the name of John Clark?
If it sounds familiar.
Yeah, let's just say William Dafoe is William the Friend with that character.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
I will leave it at that.
So
Although
we won't have
one
Spider-Man come out to play.
Anyways, one thing that I want to add, well, not really add, but like from what you're saying, James, that's another category that I forgot to mention is pretty much the sequels that try to improve the original, where the original had something, it had a good basis idea, but then the sequel comes along and makes everything better. And for me, one of the prime examples of that, I actually have it right here, is actually this Rescuers Down Under.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah,
I was
I've
like,
mentioned in my videos before that I love this movie so much, and it's pretty much it took what the original is and made it like so amazing. Like, I'm not going to say that the original Rescuers is bad. It's actually a pretty good movie, but my biggest issue with it is that it's very slow paced. You know, like it's trying to be so action packed, but it has such a it's moving so slowly, and like it doesn't feel like things are moving that it's hard to get into it, and I get bored fast even at the big climax what it's trying to do. But with Rescuers Down Under, it starts off like so amazingly and then it continues on to be amazing. Like the scene
it's
it
big.
starts off like yeah, it starts off big and it goes big the rest of the time. Like it starts off with the scene where the kid what's his name again?
Cody.
Cody, when he goes off saving Marahute, and then what follows is one of the most beautiful scenes in the movie, and probably one of the biggest highlights in Disney history, in Disney animation. It's such an amazing scene, and afterwards, when
Flying with the giant eagle.
yeah,
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 that's the scene.
and then like when the villain, hold on, I suddenly keep forgetting about their names. Oh my god, it sucks.
I love this
Um,
movie so much I can't remember their names.
crap. No, but the main villain of the film, played by George C.
George C.
Scott,
Scott.
Percival C. McLeach. Like he's such a and then he comes along, and then makes things more intense, makes it like really brings on the conflict, and then here comes the rest of the character. Here comes Bianca and Bernard, and joined in by Jake, and really brings in this adventure. Everything is big. This is what the Rescuers is supposed to be, you know. And considering the fact that this was released during Disney's biggest time, like when they released like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin, like this is pretty. I would say that this is as good as these films. It's such an amazing animated feature. Like, and I'm glad to see that it's starting to slowly but surely gaining its popularity. It's a lot. It's starting to be like Disney's version of the Iron Giant, where it's starting to get the notoriety, and like people are noticing like of what it actually is.
It's
So
been a few
yeah.
years since I've seen Down Under, but I remember McLeach was a badass in that. Like there's like one scene in the movie where he's got the kid strapped to a chair and he's throwing knives at him. Wasn't that in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know if he was really throwing knives, but I remember like there was a scene like he was getting close and was like,
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
he slams
family
the knife
picture.
right next to this
family picture.
G-rated, right?
Oh, oh yeah. Is it?
Which you have moments like that, and
Yeah, it's
it
G-rated.
it ups the it it ups the ante even for a family audience. But it wasn't trying to be mean spirited or anything, but it was just trying to make the movie feel big. And
Is
you're right.
you were saying?
You're right, and I'm going to say you're right, Matt. I do think it's a more interesting film altogether.
I just feel bad considering it was released at a pretty bad time. And here's where I echo reviewer Josh Spiegel's words here, considering a lot of factors went into its unfortunate timing here, and I quote, "This might be helpful in terms of discussion of sequels. The Rescuers Down Under tanked with barely 3.5 million in its opening weekend take. Katzenberg removed all television advertisements for the film. By itself, that's not the worst possible fate, but it proves that he had zero confidence in its ability to perform at a seemingly ideal time of year. Here's the thing. The more demoralizing fact isn't that Katzenberg yanked the marketing. It's that Disney set The Rescuers Down Under up to fail, opening it on the same weekend as a little film called Home Alone. He may not have been
Jeez.
able to predict its long-lasting impact on popular culture, but Katzenberg likely had enough tracking information to tip him off that Home Alone would be a monster laying to waste everything in its path. The Rescuers Down Under was forced to take that hit then and afterwards."
Wait, so but how are they able to predict Home Alone success? I mean that part doesn't exactly
Add up.
add up.
Hmm.
The fact that oh, we got sequels there. The fact that
Well, there's
It,
also the fact that at one point, they kind of predicted that the Rescuers Down Under was going to fail because at one point they did re-release the original Rescuers close to the release date of Rescuers Down Under, and it did like less than $1 million. And some of the executives were there like, "Uh-oh, we did a mistake." So like
okay.
they kind of see it coming. But I will admit, like at least with Home Alone, they didn't really expect it. They didn't really expect that it's going to be a success. The biggest stupid move on that matter on Disney's side, there is nothing worse that they could ever do than releasing the 2011 Winnie the Pooh like at the same time as a Harry
Harry
Potter
Potter.
movie. Not just any Harry Potter movie, the last Harry Potter movie, the one that everybody will see.
So here's what we see here, gentlemen. I believe this Harry Potter movie is going to be too frightening for some family members. I think a little Winnie the Pooh will soften up that box office business. Let's see here. Right, this day should be perfect there, so we'll definitely have a lot of good kitties seeing Winnie the Pooh. Watch that. They like magic and mayhem and giant snakes eating Alan Arkin. No, no, no. Sorry, what? It's not Alan Arkin. It's that guy from Dogma. Whose name I forget. Alan Rickman. Thank you, number three, Alan Rickman. What eating by Alan Rickman? They want that shit. Okay, let's get Brad Bird on for some movie on Tomorrowland and another Pirates film.
Well, I don't care. I just want to go see Winnie the Pooh.
No, that does it.
Well, because during
I
that,
want to do Winnie the Pooh.
because during that time, the audience had everybody had a very hard decision. It's either they had to watch the final confrontation between Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort, which they have been waiting ever since 2000 or 2001, or they could go see the Hundred Acre Woods, find Eeyore's tail. So let's go find Eeyore's tail.
Yeah, I saw the Harry Potter movie too. It was amazing. It was like the biggest fight. It was the biggest climax ever in the two of the Harry Potter and the Dumbledore, and they came together and they turned into this big freak thing. And then Harry died. Harry died, and then he came back to life because he saw this little mutant this little mutant thing with the Dumbledore in the afterlife, and it was so cool.
Hey Morgan, what you doing with that winter hat?
Nephew, what are you doing up past your bedtime?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Oh god.
Never try to pull a fast one on their Uncle Bobcat.
Oh my Jesus.
This is the beauty of videography here. We can actually see each other doing comical bits instead of funny voices off the audio. If you ask me, I was the moron behind sequelizing Home Alone. Think about it. It goes to New York.
You
He
make
meets
the
the...
sequels from Home Alone.
They sent a garbage of money. Don't argue with me, nephew.
Okay, I saw Home Alone 2 a long time ago. It was weird.
I
It was
know, because I
weird.
was the bastard who wrote it.
It was funny though that they tripped on the thing, and then the guy walked down the stairs, and they got fucked in the head by a big barn and knocked out, and they fell down the
No,
floor. And
don't hit yourself with that orange juice. James has to finish that.
Well, that's because people like that the first time around. They like seeing the big heads getting hit on the head. They like the kid manipulating all the big head dogs. So what do? We let them lost in the city. We get them lost in the hotel, getting mocked up with Dr. Frankenfurter running the motel, and Rob Schneider being all geeky and getting the used water gums. We can
Mari,
good
what
use
are you
used
doing? Mari, oh. Stay away.
So James,
Sorry about that.
Are you keeping him busy with more math homework?
Yes.
Is
He
it back
needed
in
a
his
break.
bed where he belongs?
Yes. Yes, Bobcat. I'll make sure. Maury, bed. Now.
I've said my piece. I'm going back to the van, people.
Seriously, that kid needs to learn to shave.
I know, right? He's like Robin Williams and Jack, you know.
Oh gosh.
He's like 7 years old and shaving.
All right. So before we move on, I wanted to mention that I did some extensive research on this topic.
Oh boy.
So I was just what was I gonna say? I was watching this video about the trends of the 80s, and one of the trends of the 80s was sequels galore. There was a lot of sequels in the 80s. So I was like, okay, let's see how many sequels are from 1980s until now. So I went through every single decade and listed all the sequels. And my God, the results are just outrageous. Guess which decade has the most sequels?
1984.
2000? I would say somewhere more recent.
Because, and it's not just America, it's just internationally. So, because with the list I've made, it's just like, wow, there's a lot of sequels. When I looked at the 80s, there's only 115 sequels in that decade.
Uh-huh.
In the 90s, there was 131 sequels. In the 2000s, 190 sequels.
I knew it.
190. Holy crap, we've gone too much.
I mean, and in this decade right now, we're getting close to that number. With the previous and upcoming sequels in this decade coming up, we're up to 177.
Yeah,
We're about
and you know
to top
this,
that.
and you know the scariest thing is that we're not even halfway through the decade.
Exactly. So it might beat out the last decade.
That's
Wow.
So
I mean, like,
I was
that's a little
like,
freaky.
really? The 2000s had the most sequels? And I was like, and most of them actually are because of a couple of franchises I've noticed, like Pokemon
Oh, if you count those, true.
and Land Before Time.
Yes. Now that is one of those.
Excuse
Now
me.
that is one of those franchises that refuses to die.
Exactly. That's why it was on the list.
They keep
Excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom.
I remember. I had to make. Oh,
Oh, he's gone.
He's got to poop out a direct. He's got to poop out a direct.
Something isn't Lambo Flight time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I saw that Lambo Flight time. It was like they had all the different ones with the party.
Oh my god.
I can't take a piss.
No.
Excuse me for a second.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yes. Next time I go to DEF CON 4, I'll come here. Thanks.
Anyways, yeah, I was shocked about that.
Mhm.
And I also discovered there's also a category known as unnecessary sequels. Like there's sequels that should not be a sequel to the original movie. So there's a series of movies that I discovered that
That's
have
pretty much like the those are pretty much the cash cow categories.
yeah, pretty much. So there's a series of movies, and there's 19 sequels to this original film. 20 films in total.
Which one?
Land Before Time.
A little pornography film known as Debbie Does Dallas.
Does Debbie do
She from 1978, the original film, it produced 19 sequels. And the latest one was in 2005. So, let me go through the sequels for you. Debbie Does Dallas 2. Debbie Does Dallas 3. Debbie Does Dallas 4. Debbie
Does Dallas Harder. Debbie Does Dallas Harder. That should be one of the name of the sequels.
Debbie Does Dallas 5. So she has done Dallas 5 times already. The sixth
What a
one.
whore.
I bet she'll give him crabs by 21.
Sixth one is Debbie Does Las Vegas. Seventh one is Debbie Does Them All. Number 8.
Finally!
Debbie Does Everybody.
Number 8 is Debbie Does The Devil in Dallas.
Knew it!
Debbie destroys all monsters.
Number 9,
Debbie does Kinky Dora.
Kinky Dora?
Number 9, Debbie
That
Does...
That will be really
The monster
awkward.
the monster has 3 heads. Go figure.
Wait, which Dora are you talking about? I thought you meant
Good
like
Dora. Good Dora.
Good Dora. I thought you mean Dora the Explorer.
There was a Japanese trailer for Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, and they pronounced it as King Ghidorah, so I thought it was Kinky Dora.
Oh God. I thought it was like Dora. It's like
Dora.
I think that trailer is actually on the 1998 Godzilla DVD. Now I remember it.
I was just thinking it would be a very awkward sex scene. It was like, does that feel good? Yeah, I think so too.
Number 9 is Debbie Does Them All 2. 10 was Debbie Does Them All 3. Number 11 was Debbie Does Wall Street.
Does she do the Wolf of Wall Street?
Wait. Number 12,
No,
Dallas.
she's the hooker with where Leonardo DiCaprio starts.
Yes, and then he blows the crack in her butt.
Yes.
12, Dallas
blow
Does
hole.
Debbie. 13, Debbie Does Dallas Again. Oh, you're gonna love this one. Number 14, Debbie Does Dallas The Next Generation.
Dun, 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 dun. Starring Patrick Stewart as Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Oh, does that feel good, Debbie? Shut up, Weasley.
15, Debbie Does Dallas 99.
I want to learn to have sexual feelings too, Captain. It is part of my emotion chip.
Number 16, Debbie Does Iowa. 17, Debbie Does New Orleans. 18, Debbie Does Dallas The Revenge. The Revenge?
The Revenge.
The Revenge?
What?
Well, technically, there I don't know. Maybe she wants revenge sex with for Las Vegas. I don't know.
19. Debbie does Dallas East versus West.
Finally, there's a plot.
Is that her? Is that like her versus Michelle Yao or something?
I don't know. And number 20, the latest one is Debbie does S&M.
Yeesh.
So why are these? And this is the pornography series. I mean, there's no other porn series out there that has sequels. I mean, I heard of Sporn Poos, but Sporn.
What are they gonna? What the heck are they gonna do for Debbie Does Dallas 21? Hold on, Debbie. Yeah. Debbie, hold on. Don't worry, the podcast will be over soon. Yeah, I'll only be wearing the animation hat this time. Don't worry.
Oh.
Anyways, what were you guys saying?
There. We do. Debbie does animat.
Hello, are you interested in a reboot, Debbie?
No, wait, no. Debbie does Canada.
We knew that wasn't hair on your head.
Whoa! Whoa!
Wow, this is wow.
What? James, you dirty fuck.
Wow!
Wow, you're a little on the dirty side today.
Wow!
That's
I
the
have-
guy who brought up Debbie Does Dallas.
I'm sorry. You just didn't have to go that far with the dirty jokes. I was
Sorry,
just
dude. Your hair is very nice. Here, let me quaff it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, it blows my mind. Like, why do you make a sequel to the series? It's like, how many times does Debbie need to do Dallas? I mean, and what other cities could she go into? And she does a devil in Dallas. What the fuck does that mean? Next year.
And she hasn't gotten to foreign territory yet either, like Asia or Russia or London.
Well, let's be honest. If she goes to Asia, will she get that much?
No, but I heard no, but I heard it's all natural over there compared to us, if you know what I mean.
Ew.
If,
Two words: natural casing.
if she does China once, she's okay. If she does China again, they might have to tax her. I don't know. It's the whole one-child policy thing, you know.
Let's see, Debbie 25. Debbie does. That's supposed to say China, you a-holes.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's unnecessary sequels out there. You just gotta wonder why. Is it really that popular? Is Debbie really that beautiful and hot?
It can't be. I think for in a serious note, I think for Debbie, I think it's like the horror. It's kind of like a horror sequel, where it's not really about making
God,
a plot.
No. Oh no!
They don't want to expand the world of Debbie Does Dallas. They don't want to develop Debbie.
Oh, because
They want to see all. They want to go put Debbie on all the different positions, and let's be honest, you can't get enough of that Debbie boobies jiggling.
How did we go from sequels to talking about porn?
Exactly, because I mentioned it.
Okay.
Come on, guys. It's 4 guys in a podcast. Of course, boobs is gonna throw in somewhere.
And this is anime, uncensored.
Jesus Christ!
Don't make me pull my man boobs out, and then it'll be embarrassing.
I'd like to point out something that
I've been watching kids movies this whole time for years upon end. My adult side has to come out somewhere.
And it's fine. I love it. Your fans just don't see it as much as we do.
Oh dear.
That's because I haven't seen a lot of Ralph Bakshi movies yet.
Oh, there we go. Then you can get into adulthood.
Yeah, that's when I'm a man.
Like,
I watch manly movies.
Like,
Speaking of which, let's talk about the 9
Wait.
Lives of Fritz the Cat. No.
Wait, what, Morgan?
we got a problem.
But
Uh-oh.
What's the problem?
Debbie is gonna do Dallas in a way so different that I cannot believe this is happening.
wait, for
Okay.
real?
Wait, what?
Well,
Is she
actually,
going to turn it into Fresno?
no. I mean, this did happen, but I don't think they're doing it anymore. Debbie does Dallas the musical.
Oh, yep, I read about that. I was just I forgot to mention. Yeah, they turn into a Broadway musical.
And
No, it can't be
Broadway.
Broadway.
It
It
was.
can't be
It was.
on Broadway.
I swear to God, I looked it up. I swear to
And-
God.
and
Hold on
instead
a
of
sec.
and they replace the sex scenes with musical numbers.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
In 2002, off Broadway. Oh, it's off Broadway. Never mind. Off Broadway. It's different than Broadway.
Okay, on Broadway. There you
Hey,
go.
It was in San Francisco in 2006,
Still, like,
and in 2005 it was performed in Dallas.
oh, that didn't surprise me. No, but like, seriously, like it. I can't imagine freaking Debbie Does Dallas like in freaking Broadway. It's like, what are the biggest Broadway shows you're gonna go see? The Lion King, Les Miserables, Phantom of the Opera, Aladdin. Debbie Does Dallas.
Boy, did I open a can of whoop ass with this.
Let's go to see the Cats reunion. Let's go see Book of Mormon. Let's go see Debbie Does Dallas.
God. All
With
right.
special guest, the cast of Avenue Q.
Oh God.
Oh.
So,
internet is for porn.
The internet is for porn. Yes, from the same oddly enough. How is it from the same writers of Let It Go? I don't know.
Adolescence. Adolescence.
Ay.
and then there's a sequel or a few of them that I may have noticed that don't involve with the actual series whatsoever. Just in case in point, Halloween 3.
Well, from what I've heard from Halloween 3 is that originally they wanted to make the whole Halloween franchise a kind of more of an anthology. Anthology franchise than just an anthology series. They wanted to try to expand like more horror stories based on Halloween, on the season of Halloween itself. But like nowadays we have Trick or Treat doing that, but like it didn't really work out. They just want to keep it as a slasher film because nowadays the only thing when you think of like the Halloween movies, you think of Michael Myers.
Exactly.
I'm guilty because I actually own the Blu-ray copy of that movie.
And
Oh, yeah.
I kind of enjoyed it too.
Oh yeah,
you
it's
know.
great. It's great.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
great.
bad.
It's
I'm
not bad. It's just the oddball sequel and how it's not even related to the main character.
If it was not named Halloween 3, chances are it would have done better in some way, but considering they're going off in a different direction with the franchise, I think that's the problem because the first two movies were all about Mike Myers, so when they go into a second set of storylines which are not supposed to be connected to each other, they reference Halloween in the third movie on the TV. What's up with that?
That doesn't
Yeah.
count.
Yeah.
It's like the Phantasmagoria 2 of the Halloween saga.
But no, Halloween 3, it's one of those, yeah, it seemed like an interesting concept, like an interesting idea, but maybe if it was geared more something else, like if it was a TV series or maybe a TV movie series like Amazing Stories, then it would work better in that kind of vein. They tried, they failed. It's not that bad of a movie. Yes, it's
not.
ridiculous, and there's the annoying jingle which is set to London Bridge is falling down, but
Mhm.
Yeah. No, but you know the thing is that with the problem with Halloween 3, the reason why it didn't work like to make the Halloween franchise as an anthology series, it's Halloween 3. There are two previous films that features Michael Myers, so you think that the rest of the film would be with Michael Myers, but no. This is kind of like this is suddenly kind of like random and out of nowhere. It's not really Halloween like the last two films. If Halloween 3 were to be Halloween 2, then the Halloween franchise would be totally different from today. It would have been the anthology series that it would have originally been.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
yeah,
would
that's
it
pretty much the
would that
problem.
have made it a better? Would that have made it a better series overall or worse? Is the
Yeah, that's
question.
pretty good. It's a pretty good idea.
Well, it depends because Halloween is now because nowadays Halloween is blended with all the other all the other slasher films like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. At least like being kind of like being an entire anthology series, it would have been different. It would have really stand out from the rest. Although like nowadays we do have some like there are some anthology Halloween movies, but like none of them really as series, with the exception of Trick or Treat, because I know there's going to be a Trick or Treat 2 coming.
It's going to
And then you
be.
have
Is that Trick or Treat? Like
Yeah, Trick or
not
Treat.
not.
Yeah,
Okay,
with the
because
little
I
like
like.
Sackboy kid.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that one.
he was
I'll
cute.
be
Yeah,
anxious to see what they.
the first one I gotta admit, that was freaky. That was freaky. Like there are
I
even like some parts that I do get like freaked out where a lot of people think I was like, oh, that part is corny. No, but like for me, it was like, shit, that like some were really unexpected and freaky.
Some
But
are
then,
pretty good.
what? Go ahead.
There were some pretty good twists in that one. There was one segment that nearly made me press the red hot topic button in my head, and that's the one with the disabled kids that become zombies. That nearly is a little too much for me,
Isn't
but
that the
it
one on the
was
bus? Like,
yeah.
weren't they all? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they come back as zombies. That was like nearly the moment where I just, stopped and said, I don't think I can take too much of this because, um, being around and having experiences with
What kind of
disabled
disabled, by the way? Like, this disabled or
Uh,
this disabled?
mentally,
mentally.
because I've been around kids like that before, and it was a moment that nearly made me stop for a bit, but it wasn't too much dwelling, so
No, I
it's a horror
understand.
movie, yeah.
I understand. I actually have a cousin that is mentally challenged. So like, usually the subject of like mentally handicapped is sometimes kind of a taboo subject with me. Like I wouldn't even dare make like funny jokes
Yeah.
about it. So like, plus I've been helping out with organizations with a lot of people
Oh,
that
good for you.
have so yeah, like I have been helping them out.
and I'm a substitute paraeducator, so I work with the guys too.
I have a
Hmm.
cousin
We're
with
all buds.
autism.
Yeah, I didn't mean. I didn't. Uh, Somehow that part didn't like really get to me. It was just the the whole thing with Trick or Treat was it was mood wise it was it was a Halloweeny film for adults.
Mm.
It was a Halloweeny film for the
Halloween.
slasher audience.
I'm
Hmm
Halloweeny.
Halloween.
Halloweeny, Halloweeny.
Uh,
Why, thank
Oh
you.
my god!
I'm
oh,
Pumpkin Weenie, and
Phaelus.
I'm here to show you the greatness of Halloween and its sweet traditions. What's that? You let me read the cue cards? Why, thank you very much.
Oh my god. Oh my
Uh,
god, you guys.
Sorry.
we're sorry. We're gonna go back to the original subject.
Let me. Alright,
So, what about accidental sequels like Back to the Future Part 2, which were supposed to be a sequel, but instead a film that ended as a cliffhanger and a joke?
Ooh.
Wait, which one?
Yeah, this is actually true. Remember the ending to Back to the Future, where they mentioned they
Oh,
have to go back to save the kids?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
hmm
That was not intended to be a cliffhanger.
Really?
What?
That was a joke they wrote in at the last minute to kind of be like Marty's never gonna have a normal life. But then when the
Oh,
film
like,
was a huge
oh
hit,
well.
yeah,
Uh,
the film was a huge hit and the Universal pressure, and they said, "Hey, you gotta do a sequel because the film did so well, and because of the way you ended it, it wasn't supposed to be a continuation." And now
Mhm.
later on down the road, they have to label it a trilogy, even though it's unintentional.
Yeah, I get what you
yeah.
mean. Sometimes I get what you mean. Sometimes, like when people would like, sometimes with cliffhangers, sometimes it's best like when you don't know what happens. This is like, okay, like I might be tuning a bit of my own horn. This is something that I have done. I decided to experiment with my top 10 best other Disney villains when I decided to end it off with me getting all ready to go and fight the Haunted Mansion ghosts. And how I ended off is that I leave the door and that's it. Although I do get comments from people wonder like they're asking me like to make a continuation or to know like they want to know what's going on, but I rather just leave it to the imagination to them.
Hmm.
Although some people leave with weird response,
Yeah.
I do get people like they do encourage me. It's like, oh, I hope you go and beat the Black Widow, Brad. Go on, man. But yeah, like sometimes it's better to leave it as a cliffhanger to like let the question not be only be answered by the imagination of the viewer.
Mhm.
But sometimes, like, yeah, some like when it comes to Hollywood, something like that, like Back to the Future, yeah, when you do something like that, it's bound to happen.
Yeah. And then you have films that do a bad example of a cliffhanger ending is Super Mario Brothers. For the longest time, people thought that was a setup to a sequel, and according to recent interviews with writers, it wasn't. It was a joke. It
Mhm.
was an homage to Back to the Future. And that's kind of a problem between today's cliffhanger endings because people are expecting a follow-up.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, they ended off at they ended off here. Well, there has to be a continuation. I mean, it's kind of like Lord of the Rings. There has to be another installment here, and it's not supposed to. When
Yeah.
something is meant to end, it's meant to end.
You know what the biggest problem is that it's like the way that they handle the cliffhanger. With Back to the Future and Super Mario, what they did wrong is that what they're doing with their cliffhanger is that this is bound to be more of what you see.
Mhm.
With the way that I did it, my video, well, yeah, I feel kind of so I feel a little bad comparing myself. I feel like too egotistical, but
Whoring yourself out.
I feel so I don't know. I feel
Do
but
do do
anyways,
do. I have no hair.
what what I'm trying to say is that in my video is a top 10, like pretty much a top 10 other Disney villains. I show you to it, and my cliffhanger is kind of a different thing. Actually, a movie that I know actually has a good cliffhanger. It's not really a sequel, but technically it's part of a trilogy. Is The World's End. Now you pretty much
Mm,
go see where it's pretty much where you have like a bunch of friends going bar hopping and trying to reach to the end before the day finishes. But their biggest obstacle apparently is aliens,
the
where
blacks.
like robot aliens taking over the entire place. And the cliffhanger there is that they're in a completely different world. Now they're in a post apocalyptic world, and Simon Pegg is now with is
Spoiler
now
alert.
oh crap. Okay, yeah, spoiler alert. Um, spoiler alert. Now they're in a post-apocalyptic world, and Simon Pegg is with the younger versions of his friends that are pretty much aliens. And now, like, we pretty much see like the continuation of his life and theirs. So that's how you do a proper cliffhanger. Not really offer, oh, we're gonna give you more of what you just saw. It's like you can't really do that because that's what people would want.
Mm.
You can't really give them what they really want. Just give them what you want on like the movie that you're making now, and do like, oh, we're gonna do something else.
And that's sort of the thing with sequels today. There are some films that try to go in a different direction, or it's alienated from the original source, or they go into a different direction, and they try something out, and it either works or doesn't work. And the one example that's coming to mind that I wanted to use, and I guess it's best fitting here, is Psycho 2.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
the Psycho 1, it's a classic. It is what it is. Psycho 2, surprisingly, it doesn't. Oh, it's not there to outdo the original. It's not there to overpower what was said in the first film. It's doing its own twists and turns. It's doing its own story. And to me personally, this is how I think a sequel should be. It should be doing its own thing. It should be expanding more into the universe. We actually get to
Hmm.
see Norman Bates struggling in the present times. He's out of the nut house. Pardon my French. Norman Bates is, well, Anthony Perkins is great in this. And he's trying to live a normal life, but the whole world around him is like, we know him as this psychopath, so we know him too well as a psychopath. We want him to be insane. And at the same time, we really go really deep into his character, like his relationship with his mother, his phobias and struggles, and it's a very nicely well done, well written sequel. The thing I think people get a problem getting over is the fact that it's a follow-up to the first film because the first scene is literally the shower scene showing it's a continuation. And yeah, if you can get past that and see it as its own thing, it still works because it's going deeper into Norman Bates than what was established in the previous movie. It's painting him as a very sympathetic character, and you feel really bad for him. There's this girl he's trying to befriend, and I don't want to give too much away, but her mother is actually the mother of the Janet Leigh character in the first movie, and she wants revenge on Norman. So that
Ooh.
really adds a lot fuel to the fire there. There's a lot of visions that Norman has, like his mother's trying to come back and put him to set right. There's this possibility that um, Norman's mother probably might not have been her mother. His mother could be alive or not alive. They really throw a lot at you, and it really builds to a really intense climax, I will admit. And this is how I feel a follow-up should be. It really works in its own right, and I feel bad because back then critics were mixed. It was a decent hit to give it the least, but then people had second thoughts. And they said, "Really, Psycho 2? Are you that mad?" In later years, it's had a better cult appreciation, and I'm glad. In fact, it has a Shout Factory release, which is great. The bad news, they made a Psycho 3.
And I
Like recently?
no no.
No, in 1986.
Oh dear God.
Psycho 2
Oh,
is 1982.
Ay.
No. Psycho 2 came out in 1984. Psycho 3 came out in 1986. You see the problem with sequels these days? We actually have patience here.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
But
I
anyway,
regret. Yeah, I regret.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, I said to Morgan, he showed me Psycho 2. I said afterward, okay, let's go ahead, have a bad movie night, watch Psycho 3. Whereas Psycho 2 is deliberately trying to be Hitchcock, Psycho 3 is trying to be the 80s. You see the problem there?
Oh God.
let me put it like this. He feels bad for seeing it. I feel bad for showing him it.
You took everything. They took everything that was in that that made the films work. Every last bit of subtlety that Hitchcock uh, that Hitchcock had put in his original film, and unceremoniously threw it out the window for tits, gore, massive amounts of blood.
Oh God, it's turning one of those. Yeah.
I mean, even at the end of the second one, at least they saved all the gory bits just for that climax, and it worked because it was literally rising tension. Here, it's a slasher movie. They're turning Norman Bates into Jason Voorhees.
Well, consider this. It is the 80s. This is when Freddy, Jason, Michael, all these are popping out of nowhere. So it was a pretty big craze. There's no
I don't
surprise
give a
that they're
butt's
trying to
ass.
make Norman Bates into that style.
Yes. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Psycho 3 is just unintentionally hilarious. I feel bad. It's directed by Anthony Perkins. There's moments where they at least try to make it look, beautiful and stuff, but the film itself is a retread of Hitchcock cliches, and it's not done very well. There's a character that's supposed to be like a nun or something like that, and it's supposed to be like this Vertigo homage, I guess, and it reminds Norman of the girl in the first film that he killed. Um, there's a really weird scene where he axes off a chick and hides her in the ice box, and there's a cop there investigating, and while he's looking away talking to civilians, he puts his hand in the ice box where the fucking body is, and picks up a thing of ice with blood in it, puts it in his mouth for no apparent reason, smacks his lips. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, dude, you're gonna get AIDS. I just... This is the movie in a
Everybody
nutshell.
has AIDS.
This is the movie in a nutshell. It's just... It's way too insane, way too crazy. There's a scene where he's killing somebody, and Woody Woodpecker's on the TV. That's how symbolic this film is. And
Is
for the
Woody
love of God...
Woodpecker talking to Norman Bates?
No, but
Murder.
there's a bit where he is,
Do it, Norman. Do it for Mother.
but no, there's a bit where Woody Woodpecker is laughing, and Norman's like, "Don't laugh at me, Mother! Don't laugh at me! Don't laugh at me!"
Oh, God.
It gets worse. It gets worse. The movie gets negative 60 bajillion brownie points for actually making Norman Bates cross-dressing funny instead of scary. There's a scene near the end where he's in Mother's garb, and they make it funny.
I think
So-
they were trying to be
Yo,
scary.
I mean, like,
Trust
in
me.
the original, that was like a huge freaky twist. How can
Yes.
you turn that into, like, freaking satire?
He speaks. Mother and his voice speak at the same time, and somehow the expression he gives, the timing, it just turns it into a comedy instead of a horror. So everything that was good in the first film and the second film that's so nicely tight and wrapped up is just literally unraveled in the third film. It's like they said, "Oh, yeah, the second movie about that retcon.
Yeah.
We're retconning all the twists of the second film. Retcon.
Oh
What's
yeah,
this?
they.
What's this? His real mother is still alive? Retcon. I hated them for that.
Spoiler alert.
But I didn't say who the real mother was. Ah.
Do I want to mention?
It's Woody Woodpecker.
Yes, it's Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah.
Woody Woodpecker. Thank God.
In the third
Yes,
movie,
the
it's
real
Woody
mo-
Woodpecker.
Should I mention
And the big
fourth
twist,
one?
his father comes in. It's Walter Lantz.
Yes,
Seriously,
and he doesn't kill. He doesn't kill with a knife. He kills with his beak. Every time. I'll peck a hole in your head.
No, he comes out of a person like in Aliens. It's like at the end you just see like someone just lying there, and like you just see Norman coming out of the stomach. It's like, guess who?
Instead of Woody Woodpecker, it's Judge Doom.
Oh,
Remember me, Norman? Remember when I snogged your mother? I used to talk like this. Boing.
Oh god.
I am going
Mother
to
told me about bad movies like that.
open some sequel can of awful.
Oh dear.
Please do not say Troll 2.
Please. That's...
Yes! You are so easy!
Okay, well at least that's enjoyably bad.
They're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me. Oh
Oh
my
my
god!
gosh.
You guys have any idea just how dated we've made ourselves now just by mentioning Troll 2?
I know, yeah, I know.
We don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, it's like one of the most worst sequels.
You know, it's actually, just one little thing that I want to mention. Just recently, I saw a video from Spoonie, and he was making a whole rant about Sharknado and how like it's supposed to be like, it's like they made it to be bad.
I saw that
And
one.
at one point, he mentioned what's actually pretty interesting is that what makes like those bad movies like so bad it's good is the fact that when they were making it, they didn't know that it was going to be bad. They thought they were doing something that was good. That's what makes something like Birdemic or The Room or Troll 2 pretty much as infamous as it is today. But then suddenly you would get the sequels, like Birdemic 2 or like I think they're going to make a Sharknado 2 or like
They are.
They're making a trilogy.
when they're making a oh, wait, a Sharknado trilogy. Fudge nab, how much Sharknadoes do we need? No, but anyways, the fact is that when you're making like this is one of those ideas of a sequel where it's trying to like take all the elements that is so well known and try to make things bigger. When they're trying to make a sequel to a bad movie and they're trying to make it like even worse, now they know that it's a bad movie, they'll be self-aware, they'll make the stupid things even stupider. It just doesn't work because they know they're making a bad thing, and like it doesn't really transcend as well when you don't know that you're making something bad. I'm sure there are plenty of other examples out there, but like that's one of the core concepts that when you make a movie that's like so bad, like a movie that is so bad, if you make it so bad that it's on purpose, it's not going to work as well as if you think it's going to be good. Like if you somehow have the mind of Ed Wood.
And then you have movies that don't give a fuck, like Gremlins 2 or Despicable Me 2.
Hey, wait. Well,
Because I'm happy.
No. Let me explain. Let me explain. In the term of sequels that don't give a foul, it's the fact that they are literally going to do whatever the hell they want, and it's going to be entertaining nonetheless.
that is true actually, considering that because Despicable Me 2 is just trying to expand more the characters, like it's trying to expand it's just expanding Gru and mostly the concept of like evil genius of like the evil villains in the town, like in the world that he lives in.
And the minions.
Yeah, well, no, the minions are just comedy factor. That's what you said about the entertainment bits.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
like,
then there's the evil minions.
well, no, that's like a create. It's not a character development. That's just like a new thing, you know.
Uh,
That's like a new bit. No, but it definitely is an entertainment. Like the Despicable Me, there are many things about the Despicable Me films that are really entertaining. Like they really do get great comedy, great writing, and all that stuff, and really a lot of charm and really a lot of heart. And like with the comedy and all that stuff, with the Minions, like they can do whatever they want. They can pretty much do whatever they want. Like they've even been practicing with many different like shorts, and like each one of them really does nail in the head. Like it really is a hilarious cartoon because that's
Yeah.
how they are. So,
Or else,
yeah.
or else Gremlins 2 is a living cartoon.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, well, Gremlins 2 is not, it's not like the first one. They're
No.
taking, like, Gremlins 2, they're taking, like, comedy bits from, like, many other things, like the Looney Tunes and all that stuff. You don't really see that much, like, you see a bit in the original Gremlins, but not as much. Like this one, this is, like, making things bigger, and one of the very few examples that it actually works.
From what I've heard, originally they had the concept of idea of doing many different Gremlin ideas. Even at one point, they had him, like, I think, go to Mars, and Joe Dante didn't want to do anything of that sort. And this was after the success of the first one. And then finally, they roped him back in, and they convinced him to a sequel because they said, and I quote, "We'll let you do whatever you want."
Oh boy.
And so
You'll
they
be
thought,
sorry.
and
We're gonna have Hulk Hogan in there. We're gonna make it so Looney Tunes. We're even gonna have Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck come in. Heck, we have Chuck Jones on the line to help us out.
but yeah, actually, Chuck Jones is good friends with Joe Dante, believe it or not.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, the funny thing is that they took popular things of the 90s, which they randomly said were the two popular things, being frozen yogurt and genetic experiments, and they just went with it. The idea of how these pop culture icons can come together in one mesh. Okay, we have this giant building that's sort of like half mall, half TV studio, half everything, and it's just a great stab at the late 80s and just the new fashion statements as a whole, and it's just great to see these little monsters tear to shreds.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second half just goes goofy, but it's still enjoyable.
Yeah,
And then you have Gizmo going from cute to Rambo.
pretty much.
So there's a character development.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a character development. Gizmo suddenly realizing, I gotta stop this.
Cute no more.
Ay.
Murder all of my children.
So
I
He has a
hate
point. He has a point.
What?
What James said.
Well, what did he say? I just forgot. What?
He said,
I said,
murdering.
murder all of my children.
Oh, that's true. Oh my God.
Hmm.
That is true.
Yeah. I'll never forget Spielberg's first comment after walking out of the first screening of the movie. He said there were too many gremlins.
Too much. I'm done. I got a gremlin overdose.
And if you look on the DVD's deleted scenes, you'll see that it wasn't the fact that the movie had bad jokes. There's some really good jokes they left on the cutting room floor. It's just the movie would have been too long.
right, and actually that brings up another good point when it comes to sequels. Sort of, is that sometimes the first movie is way too long, and they have to split into two parts.
Mm.
Well, the novels you could think of as like Harry Potter has split the seventh book in two parts. Hunger Games has split their movies in two parts. Twilight's split into two parts.
Well, mostly that's. Well, it started out when it comes to the novels. It started out with Harry Potter because
Exactly, yeah.
like they really because with Harry Potter it's the grand finale.
Yep,
They
yep,
really
yep.
want to make this big,
Yep.
and they really want to go into full detail in order to get it right. The rest, they're pretty much following it because it's more of a fad.
Yeah.
Then Twilight decided to follow along, and now, the Hunger Games is going to do it, and Divergent is going to do it
Yep.
when it
Yeah,
reaches
it's a fad,
point.
yeah. It's a current fad. But
And like, even with even with the Hobbit right now, that's mostly Peter Jackson trying to do like another trilogy.
yeah.
Peter Dragson?
Peter Jackson.
Thank you.
Peter Dragon.
and let's not forget also. Let's not also forget this factor. The final Harry Potter book, Deathly Hallows, was not split into two parts because it was the longest or one of the longest books in the series. Actually, it was not. I'd say as far as like the average, it would probably be around. It was like 600 pages or something. Other books in the series were over 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
So the reason for the splitting it up into two parts was not just an artistic decision. It was also more or less an executive decision to try and extend.
Money, 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 money,
Yeah.
money.
We're gonna be rich.
Yeah, like it's pretty much
Which
what we
doesn't-
both said. It's like to make more money and to make this the grand finale, you know?
Yeah, which I'm not saying is wrong, because I actually kind of thought the second act of Deathly Hallows did some things far better than the book, like the climax between Dumbledore and Harry. It wasn't nearly that good.
Yeah, I mean, considering the final battle between Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort, it's like part one is to set everything up.
I
And
meant to
it's
say
like,
Voldemort. Duh.
then part two is that, okay, we got all things ready, let's go! And then you see the big battle going on.
Mm-hmm. I was going to segue into another film that's way too long and had to be split into two parts, and it was Kill Bill,
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course.
Yeah, that's true.
Volume 1 and Volume 2. Because Quentin Tarantino, he wanted to do this big, epic movie, and it was way too long. And so he had to split it into two parts.
That's another case too. I recall back in the 1970s, there was a director named Richard Lester who was doing The Three Musketeers, and he shot so much footage, they said, hey, we have enough for a third one. And as a result, they had The Four Musketeers. And it is the case where a lot of scenes, a lot of material seems way too bulky for the original. They can just be fit into a separate film, depending on the success of the original, or if all else fails, an extended television cut.
So both are just so they weren't making the Four Musketeers just because they were so cocky that they thought the first one was going to be a hit.
No, it was pretty much just a batch of deleted scenes they knew would be suitable for a second movie.
Which reminds me of another film that has a similar scenario, which would be Anchorman, who had a lot of extra deleted footage and stuff, and made a direct-to-DVD movie called
Waking Up on Burgundy.
Yeah,
That movie was bad.
yeah, but
I've seen it, and it's like I'm so glad they went with the final cut.
yeah, that's
They
for
had
sure.
they had like a band of hippies known as the Alarm Clock, and it wasn't funny. It didn't work. There was only one scene that was actually good, and that's when they interact with a bank teller named Amy Poehler. That's like the only funny scene, because she starts questioning their mobilities and stuff, and they're confused and they're stupid about it. And I think my favorite moment was she looks towards a black guy, and he's like, but he's not wearing a mask. How come he's not wearing a mask? I don't need one. See? That's scary.
I remember that. Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was the one funny
Yeah,
scene.
that was
it.
that was the one funny scene I laughed at. I remember that.
And it's funny too, because they did the same thing with Anchorman 2, only it's like an alternate version. And the problem is, when you have so much alternate stuff, it's like you really got to choose between which is the version. It's like, okay, I got version A here, but it doesn't have as much of the funny jokes from the other version, but it's 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
And that fight scene with the anchors, it's like,
Mm.
have that in the theatrical cut. That was funnier the way it is. I liked it when the were-hyena killed the psychiatrist. It was hilarious. Just Ron's Harry, no!
I love Anchorman too. I really do.
Mm.
But I have a bone to pick when it comes to the alternate cuts.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that the releasing of them. This is a separate section. This is an off tangent here. I went to go try to buy it, and I'm a DVD guy. I'm not a Blu-ray guy. And I realized the DVD does not have the other cuts. And I'm like, why does the DVD doesn't have the extra cuts? The Blu-ray has all 3 cuts of the film. I'm like, that pisses me off because I'm like, I love the film, and I did not even see the other two cuts that were released in the theaters.
And then I'm like, that's because they want you to buy the Blu-ray player, and you're like, I don't have a Blu-ray player. And then
Yeah.
Morgan's like,
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, you just showed it in my face. Just showed it in my face, like,
got a
I
new-
got it. Just make me jealous.
petting his little kitty.
Um,
He's petting his little burgundy kitty.
God, yeah, I just
I got the 3D Blu-ray. I got the 3D Blu-ray.
stop teasing me.
He's gonna fucking kill me.
I'm gonna fly out to Massachusetts and hunt you down.
Before you kill me, we can see the lost cut you never saw, right? That'll make you happy.
I can barter with that. Yeah. God, I was gonna say something. Sometimes a sequel will, from a existing franchise 40 years old at least,
Mm-hmm.
such as Shaft, has a sequel. In 2000. Let me break this down for you. The Shaft series, Shaft series has, what is it, at least 3 movies, I believe. Shaft's big score in
Shaft in Africa.
Yep, Shaft in Africa. So in 2000, Samuel L. Jackson is in this movie. It's not a remake of the original film, but a sequel where Samuel L. Jackson plays the nephew of the original John Shaft.
So it wasn't a. So that wasn't a remake. That was
a sequel. A sequel to the series.
Nose.
But I thought.
Wouldn't it be like a spin-off?
It's a sequel, and it even had the original Shaft in the film as the uncle of John Shaft, which it's not. It's just weird because there's 2 John Shafts, and you can't even tell between the 2. It's like, oh, there's Richard Roundtree, and there's Samuel L. Jackson. And you know what reminds me of this? Think of it. A nephew of a main character. What does that remind you of?
DuckTales?
Woohoo.
James Bond Jr.
James Bond Jr. That is the first thing I thought of when I read this. I was like, nephew? A nephew? It's James Bond Jr. all over again.
I'm a brother from another mother, bitch.
It's like, it couldn't be John Shaft's son. I mean, I think I knew John Shaft's brother, but I was like, a nephew? Why is it a nephew? God, it pisses me off.
If you think that's bad,
It wasn't bad.
There is a much worse premise to contend with. If you may recall, King Kong was remade in 1976 by Dino De Laurentiis.
Oh yes.
And
God.
there was a sequel in 1980. There was a sequel in 1986 called King Kong Lives. To elaborate, I am going to have someone else fill in for me. So, give me a few, because it only works this way.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Oh God. I haven't seen it, but I've only heard bad things about it. Oh, this will not be pretty. I know that the 1976 version wasn't really all that great. It's just a big guy in a gorilla costume, and it's freaking obvious. Like, it's not as great as the 1933 classic or the 2005 Peter Jackson film. But it's like in the middle.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. They have the whole King Kong Lives right on YouTube.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, most films are on YouTube. I'm not surprised.
Most bad films are on YouTube.
Alright, so, let's see if this is. Oh yeah, that's already on. So like, I was told to like elaborate a little better on King Kong Lives and it's like insanity because I'm like the only thing insane about it. So yeah, about King Kong Lives. So as it turns out, King Kong did not die at the end of King Kong 76, even though Jeff Bridges could meet up with Jessica Lange, which was kind of a piss poor ending. So like instead, King Kong was kept under alive till 1986. Linda Hamilton comes along as a scientist and she's all like, oh dear, he has a weak heart. He needs a blood transfusion. How's this gonna work? Then coincidentally at the same time all the way in Africa, some big white hunter, diddly, it's a big white hunter, finds this other giant King Kong and it's Lady Kong. Lady Kong!
It's Lady Kong.
A giant Kong with 8 tits and they're not even censored
Is
and
it
it's PG-13.
Hold on a sec. I don't believe this. Hold on.
This is absolutely positively true, I tell you this much. They have
No.
female ape nudity in a 1980s film. Keep him away, James. James, keep him
No.
away. Keep him
No,
away,
Mari,
James.
you go to bed. You go to bed. Mari,
Keep him
stay
away,
in bed.
James.
Oh God.
I want to see the Big Ape movie.
No,
You don't want to see the Big Ape movie? There's no
No.
in the Big Ape movie. No.
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 Go to bed.
Rescind.
Oh God. There. King Kong has a girlfriend.
It gets even worse. They decide to do a heart transplant with Lady Kong and King Kong, and King Kong's heart is like the size of a giant sofa. Though it looks a bit more like a coffee table to me. So they do the blood transfusion, and then King Kong's all like, oh man, it's mated season all over again. I smell a Lady Kong. Oh, over there in the saddle bin. So they go off to the forest. They made for a little while, but the big bad armies are like, we want to hunt down Kong because apparently he's evil and stuff. But no, it was proven earlier after that heart transplant, people love King Kong. They were outside, picking at what Vince is saying. Hooray! Kong has lived! Kong has lived! Even though he already, in the previous film, did some destruction in the 1976 film, which didn't make any sense, by the way, because it doesn't really make any sense why people would be in praise of King Kong living. So then, like, near the end and stuff, this heart transplant, whatchamacallit, machine thing is like inside his heart to control it, and he destroys it. So, like, to put it bluntly, as he's, like, fighting off the military army and all that, he gets a heart attack. His lady gives birth to a son, Kong, who's about the size of Bridget the Midget. And then the King Kong dude is like, I'm gonna miss your son even though this is the shittiest costume I've ever seen. Oh my god, this is the shittiest costume I've ever seen. And then they go off into the forest, they make sequels that will never be, and they live happily ever after until the movie bombs. The end.
Someone had to think of this.
And it was me.
Someone had to literally think of this.
But
Ask
homeless
it to another-
Bobcat, why would you want to desecrate American movie classics like that? With your vision.
Hey, Sully man, did you even see the 76 film? It was crap.
Someone.
There were no dinosaurs. There was no Lance Armstrong. There were no sets that looked like the most dangerous game ever played. And worst of all, they had Charles Grodin, Nick Halliday as a villain.
There had to be an executive that thought that heard the idea and thought, okay, let's make that a movie.
And his name was Dino De Laurentiis, and he made the greatest movie known to mankind as Dune.
Now Mike looks shocked. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the King Kong. You know, I can understand what they did with Norman Bates and Psycho 3. You know, and I can understand with all the other sequels and stuff like that. You know, like, when they're bad, like, okay, they're kind of cash cows. But King Kong, one of the most famous movies of all times, the biggest icon, one of the biggest icons in cinema history, has to have a sequel like this. Something that seems to be They literally made a Disney direct-to-DVD sequel of King Kong.
You think that's bad? In the original draft, there was a cameo by Jessica Lange as a powerful star and gets eaten by Kong.
A
I'm sorry.
powerful star
A star?
gets eaten.
So King Kong eats a star.
It was in the original draft, but oh no, they just changed it to some Southern Hicks getting eaten by Kong. Where's he going?
Bobcat, look what you did. Look what you did. You made
Come back! Come back!
Bat go.
Oh, well,
Where's he going?
It was for the. It was for the greater good. The sun
I
had
needed
to
a
know.
moment.
It's not all sunshine and rainbows, kid. First day living in a Pepsi bottle, next thing you know, you're in a Ford Taurus.
Oh god. I needed a moment to just let me sink that in. Let me sink it in.
Here's another one for you. King Kong eating alligators on the Florida Everglades. And then there's a scene where the villain dies, and like he lands on a tombstone, and he thinks he's alive, and then a giant dead comes out of nowhere and crushes him on a gravestone.
You idiot. Apes are not carnivores.
Don't look at me, I didn't write this shit.
Yeah, well, you just said you wrote the sequel, King Kong Lives. Is this not...
I said I wrote a draft for the sequel. I didn't write the sequel. They took the guy with the Wind of Ape films and they turned it into schlack.
Oh, I'm sure yours was genius, right?
Yep. It had a nuclear bomb at the end, and Godzilla appearing and preaching about the ills of humanity, and Raymond Burr flying in a helicopter and saying, "God bless us, everyone, Christmas to the world."
So that exists.
I wish. But the King Kong Lives movie does.
But
Go home, Bobcat, you're drunk.
But I only had 3 crates of Pepsi.
Okay. Did we get all in favor of Bobcat staying around a little bit longer? Or
yeah, sure, why not? I don't know.
Hooray!
Although Bobcat would probably be a great distraction from the knowledge that I live in a world where a King Kong sequel like that, where like King Kong Lives, exists.
By the way, what happened to your other head?
The other head?
Yeah, it was like orange and rimmy and stuff.
Oh, on maintenance.
Explains so much.
So so I want to talk about a sequel. You guys know about Piranha 3D, right?
Oh god, yeah.
It was I believe a remake of the original film, and all of a sudden the sequel comes out. And it's Piranha 3 Double D or 3DD.
Yeah, 3 double D.
3 double Ds.
Where do I begin with that one?
I think I would categorize Piranha 3DD as one of those bad sequels where it's self-aware of the flaws of the first films and tries to make that big.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the issue with Piranha 3DD.
There's little to no connection to the first film per se, except for Christopher Lloyd as the piranha expert. That you have David Hasselhoff, who's at this water park opening, and oh my god, he's in this fighting off these piranhas. Oh, Ving Rhames comes back in this movie too. He's got these in the first film, his legs get munched off by the piranhas, and he's back with these steel legs, and he's got a gun. He puts it on his leg, and he's like, doo doo, doo doo. It's so badass. But
Bobcat, did you write this too?
No, but my cousin Vinny did. He ripped off Planet Terror.
I think he
My
did.
God.
Yeah,
I mean,
kind of.
yeah, he kind of did, because
we were there sitting on the sofa watching Gremlins 2, and he said, hey, you know what made Gremlins 2 so successful? The fact it had yogurt and it had no brain in it. So he was like, by the way, I'm co-writing this other sequel to this fish movie, and I thought it was Jaws 5.
I thought it was
He
Finding
lied.
Dory.
He lied. So now he goes off and he makes this whole other sequel, and the thing that disgusts me the most is Gary Busey in the beginning, and next thing you know what, I'm running out of the theater saying, I'm not dealing with Gary Busey in this goddamn sequel.
yes, I totally forgot about Gary Busey. Yes, because yeah,
But they already had Jaws 5. It was called Deep Blue Sea.
Exactly. Exactly.
and Samuel L. Jackson gets eaten by a shark.
Mm-hmm.
And the memory precedes me. Ever since the British, I've been scared of Gary Busey. And if that wasn't bad enough, you have the Hasselhoff wasting himself on the sideline saying, I'm an in-joke, because I'm an in-joke on the basis of the fact that I'm wasting my time on this goddamn sequel, so I'm going to waste my time in a hotel playing music for no goddamn purpose ends of being a lifeguard who doesn't even pay attention to the fact there's big booby people running around in the water park. But fish!
Now, here's the catch. It's sort of got a cliffhanger to it.
Oh, don't get me started.
To 3D.
Don't get me started!
Yes. Let me explain. Apparently, the piranha have evolved, and they have legs, and they start walking on land.
Oh God.
Dudes, you just rip off the Silurians.
Now, yeah, that's
You're
gonna be the
creepy when you
sequel.
do that. Please don't do that again.
Yeah, that's gonna be the sequel, Piranha 3 DDD, where the piranhas have to fight off have to challenge King DDD from the Kirby games.
You think that's bad?
You think you're so good with my legs? Well, wait till you see my hammer.
I can imagine worst.
I need another monster to get that there. Kirby, go after them runners.
You think that's bad? Here, my cousin Ben is trying to get a sequel of the ground called Piranha 3 Double D versus King Ghidorah Double Ds.
Yes, yeah, Kinky Dora with she's got 3D cups though.
Exactly. Imagine that in 3D. That'd be scary as shit.
Although
Yeah.
the one thing I'm surprised.
so adorable.
Although the one thing that I'm surprised that Piranha 3 Double D didn't do, because the big thing about the Piranha 3D franchise is pretty much two things: piranhas going om nom nom,
Yep.
and boo, and pretty ladies.
Mhm.
Essentially some TNA.
Yep.
I'm surprised that the piranhas didn't, like, in the opening, didn't fully eat a woman, like, completely whole, to the point where afterwards we just see floating boobs in the ocean.
Oh, that would have been great as like
Yeah, like a
little
3D
homage,
effect.
almost homage to the original film where they eat some guy's dick and it burps out and it's like in 3D, like it's like
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, really.
That would have been awesome. It's like
That's
if they just ripped a pair of breasts of a woman, and it's like
Yeah, it was
oh,
like, oh my god, I am swimming. Oh my god. And then you just see, like,
this like floating in. It just would have been that would have been great. That would have been a great homage to the first film.
No, Debbie, we're keeping this podcast PG. You stay in bed. Don't worry about it, girl.
Alright, you people are fucking sick.
All right, we got rid of Bobcat.
See, I knew my plan worked.
Hey, it's because of these guns.
You guys have serious female issues, you know.
What? You miss a lot, Morgan.
Hey, guys, is homeless Bobcat alright? He walked down sheer disgust and he just vomited in the toilet.
He kind of he gave me a crazy mental image regarding he gave me the knowledge of King Kong Lives, and
What do you mean they?
now we're discussing about Piranha 3D to distract me. I'd rather, trust me, the knowledge of boobs is much more better than the knowledge of King Kong Lives.
Right? Am I right?
So let me get this straight. The knowledge of avoiding Lady Kong's tits equals the percentage of talking about the severed penis of Jerry O'Connell getting eaten and vomited by a piranha.
I'm talking about boobs.
Oh.
Mike is the one who brought
I mentioned it. I
eating
mentioned
munching
it.
dicks.
I mentioned that because Matt was trying to
I
say
mentioned that.
why didn't this scene happen in the movie? And I was like, oh, it'd be a great homage to this scene in the original film.
Oh, good God! Did I mention I dragged Megan to that one on my birthday? Piranha 3D.
I saw it in the theaters. And actually, I saw it with my mom.
I didn't see Double D in the theaters, but
No, I didn't either. I
uh,
rented it.
yeah, so did I. That's an example of a film with too much zaniness.
Yes, way too much.
And it ends with a Baywatch parody? Really?
Wait,
Uh,
Baywatch.
well,
It's right
Mike
after.
mentioned the cliffhanger where the fish
Oh, yeah.
evolves with legs.
Yeah, I got two little skinny legs, look like a wiener. Um, whose line reference?
No, I can imagine. No, I
Yeah,
can imagine if that were the case with Piranha 3D.
yeah. It's probably one of those weird fish creatures from Jim Henson's Creature Shop challenge.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The,
definitely.
the giant piranha, I remember that. But good
Mhm.
God, when you have a film that's a follow-up to an obvious tongue-in-cheek movie that's really bad, by the way, and your goal is to make it all out insane, that's not a good sign.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is one of those. Yeah, that's another example of taking something that the original, what makes the original memorable, and try to make it grow 10 times big. That's when it doesn't work.
Next thing, I'm going to be talking about Freddy's Dead in a few seconds.
Oh God.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too. Ah!
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, by that time it was getting a little too silly in the series.
Mm-hmm.
And you liked number 2. You liked dancing what's his name in bed with sunglasses and a little bat on his crotch. Freddy's
I
Revenge. Remember that one?
yes, it's been several years, but from what I recall of the film, it it was trying to be the Psycho 2 of the series. At least it was, it was trying to somewhat respect aesthetically what the
No,
original
no,
original did.
no. Dream Warriors is the Psycho 2 of the series. Freddy's Revenge is the one that's trying to be a cash cow follow-up with gay subtexts that are completely annoying.
Oh, well, there is that too.
The
I
main character,
apologize.
the main character goes to an S&M bar. How can you hide that? There's a scene where the sadistic gym teacher is killed by the kid who's getting possessed by Freddy, and he strips him to nothing, lashes him with a bunch of towels on his arse before he scrapes his back or something, and he screams like Fay Ray.
That sounds
This is
that sounds
this is
nightmarish.
this is Elm Street 2. Fu Manchu fingers. There's a cereal in the movie with Fu Manchu in it. There's a scene where there's a
Nicolas Cage as
bird.
Fu Manchu.
I wish. I wish.
That
There's a
would make
This
this
is
series
my
interesting.
maker, bitch.
This is my beacon.
This is my beacon, bitch.
They actually did pretty well in the fake trailer.
I'll deny it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So is there still more to talk about, or?
But we didn't talk about The Godfather Part 2, the Hamlet of sequels.
Oh.
Proceed.
This is a
You
film
doing
I
okay
saw.
there,
was
Mike?
sweet both times.
Well, maybe
The
we should
floor is
just
yours.
maybe we should just like wrap it up with like our favorite sequels because
Yeah.
we talked about a lot of ground with the many types. There's the cash cows, the
Mhm.
good follow-ups, the crazy insane ones that are they're just for entertainment. Of course, it's a good thing we avoided the bad ones. A certain one that I want to bring up,
Why, oh.
which we're not going to talk about.
Oh,
No.
good.
If
Okay.
this is what I think it is, sweet
It
Jesus.
is. It is. It is. We're not going to go there. No.
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 They
No.
made another Nutcracker movie.
No.
Okay. So, best sequels you can think of right off the bat.
Oh, I just got mine, but I'll let one of you guys start if you want. No? None? Okay, fine.
We've already started
Well-
too much.
Okay, well, anyways, for me, the best sequel that I can ever think of, for me, this is pretty much not only an animated classic, this is pretty much a cinematic classic. I am talking, of course, of Toy Story 3. Now, Toy Story, hands down, it's a classic. It pretty much one of the most revolutionary animated films, the first ever computer animated film. And then Toy Story 2 came along. It's a fantastic sequel. It really opens up more about pretty much the concept of toys and pretty much the world of Toy Story, where how toys are in a toy store and also how they feel as a collection piece instead of like being played with. And we introduce Woody, like pretty much we're open to Woody. But then the third movie comes along, and that's when things really get interesting, where they expand the world of Toy Story, where they make it in which we see how do toys feel when they're in a daycare and like when they're with different kids or like they're with crazy toddlers. There is major character development when we see Andy is all grown up and he's getting ready to go to college. And we're introduced to so many new characters where it goes to a dangerous level, yet they somehow make it work. Rather it be all the toys in the daycare, Lotso, or Molly's toys at her house. And then there's also pretty much the plot itself, where it's pretty much like a prison, like an escape movie, where it's like a prison escape film, where the characters that we know are like pretty much in this jail that is Sunnyside, and it pretty much has to be like a prison, and they have to find a way out, and it's revealed that Lotso is just this really heartless, it's like this heartless bear, and there's really a lot of development in him. Add that with amazing animation from the team at Pixar, and you get one of the most amazing animated films ever created. It's unfortunate that nowadays Pixar really is going downhill, but this is something that they have peaked with, and this is incredible. There definitely is a reason why this is pretty much the first ever animated feature film that surpasses $1 billion at the box office. Like, it reached that milestone. Plus the fact that it really does temper on a subject that many adults and many young adults like myself could really get into. It's pretty much looking back at the toys that you grew up with and also learning to grow up and to move on and like to appreciate like your past, pretty much how like the old toys that you played with, how they pretty much made you. So yeah, pretty much
Mhm.
for me the best sequel I've seen, for me the best, my favorite, Toy Story 3.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, I got one for you. Uh, I'm trying not to go. Um, I'm trying not to go with an easy choice here. Um, I just pulled up a cheat sheet about 50 greatest movie sequels. Um, what came to mind after I saw the face of Mel Gibson was The Road Warrior.
Yes.
All right, all right.
Which I believe we may have talked about before, and the reason why I picked this as a great sequel is because it takes the element of what may have been implied during the first film and expands upon it and makes it turns the character of Max Rockatansky, who's formerly a cop who goes rogue on the gang that kills his family, oh so typical, and turns him into not just some vengeful cop, but uh, a hero for a civilization of people. Instead of instead of instead of just a plain looking after a civilization apocalyptic world, which was the first film. And I don't even remember if the whole apocalyptic bit was part of the first film. Um, it was just sort of okay. We're out in the middle of the desert sometime in the future. The second film does a lot in adding that in and building on the mythos of the world in which Max lives and the type of character that he is destined to become, which is beyond beyond a cliched vengeful character. He's a legendary character now, and that alone makes it feel bigger and better than the original.
Hmm. And for me personally, it's a pretty no-brainer, obvious choice. It's Alien 3.
Hmm.
Uh,
No,
of course.
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But seriously, the assembly cut wasn't that bad. For me, really, it's a bit of a toss-up between The Empire Strikes Back and The Godfather Part 2. But if I was to be a little more realistic and go by my favorite films, Godfather Part 2, I'm sorry, it was much better than the first movie. Um, I saw them as part of film class when I was at the community college, and the one thing I noticed about the second film is how it did something the first movie didn't do, and that was expand on the Corleone family. Um, the Don, of course, played by Marlon Brando in this one. He's, correct me if I'm wrong, Al Pacino, is it? Is Al
No, no, no,
Pacino?
no.
Is
It's Robert De Niro.
Thank
Al
you.
Pacino is Michael Corleone.
Michael, thank you, thank you. Why do I get the two mixed up so far? What I find interesting is how you have Vito going through the rise, sort of starting off in Italy, moving to America, and then slowly gaining power, and that being compared and contrast to what Michael is doing, and the fact that he's singling out his family. He has a wife he doesn't even pay attention to that much. He's stuck with business, and because of these factors, and he's not focusing on what is in front of him, his legacy starts dwindling down. And I just find it interesting how it goes back and forth between how successful Vito was compared to Michael, who's literally his life's like falling apart faster than the character in Blue Valentine or any romance movie. It's like, good God, how do you go from A to B? And what cements it is the ending, which I'm not going to give away. It's the final flashback for anyone who hasn't seen it. It really cements who the character is. The fact he didn't focus on anything in general. And this one life-changing movement really cements who this character was. He just didn't care about anything at all. It was just about him. It was about business. He didn't care about family in general. It was all about power and gain, and that's when he completely loses it. Whereas with Vito, who's like legitimately the center of the family, he cares about his people. He cares about who he's around with. Michael, on the other hand, it's all about business. It's all about carrying the family legacy when carrying the family legacy is paying attention to the family who's around you. And it's such an important factor in the downfall that it makes it a very tragic character in the end, especially in the final moments where certain things happen to his own trustees, which, again, not even a spoil, but it's so heartbreaking to see him just watch this happen one by one. In fact, it's all his doing. And for that reason, I found it much more engaging than the first movie, much more empowering than the first film, and above all, the more I see it, the more I think to myself, good God, is this how people become when they're so engrossed in the greed of the position they're in? It's truly an amazing story, and I know there's a version of The Godfather where they re-edited the flashback sequences into a linear narrative, and it's interesting, but it's better to have that compare and contrast just to see where the two fault. It's a beautiful story. It's well shot. You can't go wrong with Coppola, of course. So for that, no competition here. That one gets the thumbs up for me.
I'll be honest. I have seen The Godfather a couple of times, and I've actually seen it twice at my college to study it, both in terms of production value and also in terms of like pretty much the meanings in there. I had to like analyze both Vito and Michael Corleone from the first one. I have honestly yet to see the second one.
Well, it's
I'm
really
really
good.
interested. I'm really well. After what you just said, I'll
Uh,
take your word for it.
it is. The scenes in 1930 are beautifully shot, just as the scenes with Michael in Italy and, shit hits the fan when they have to escape and all that sort of stuff. But again, I have to keep really tight lips because when that ending comes straight at you, it comes straight at you. And I feel some of that might have been spoiled with a certain nostalgic critic review, but I'm not going to say which one.
I forgot which one it is. So,
Good, keep it that way. It'll ruin the beauty of the ending.
Mike, your turn.
It's ironically that James mentioned Mad Max, because there's Beyond Thunderdome, and then there's a new one coming out soon, Fury Road.
Is that still in production?
Yes, and it's coming out. There's been
It's official.
It's official. There's been production stills of behind the scenes footage, and it's looks pretty cool with the vehicles and all that stuff. But anyways,
Ooh, 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 ooh. This just in, folks. This is 3 days ago. I'm just going to read the headline right off the bat. Mad Max Fury Road. Oh, damn you. Come on, IGN. Don't suck on me now. Here we go. Get strong early screening reactions. Even though it isn't hitting theaters until May 2015, there's apparently a good enough version of it out there to screen for fans and start a huge media buzz. Tom Hardy has stepped into the titular role of Max, and the early tweets, blurbs, review letters from those who saw it are crazy good. The lengthiest praise comes from AF Times' Randy, a self-professed superfan, who wrote, and I quote, "This is the kind of Mad Max 2 Road Warrior on steroids. Go big or go home, big, nuts, crazy, toss you in the deep end mythology and put it all out there in case we never make another one Mad Max Fury Road."
yeah, that's the quote it's been all over the Mad Max 4 and marketing. It's been
And
plastered.
And Ain't It Cool News is saying, went to a preview screening, due out in a few months, and you're in for a treat.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited for that. But
You were saying.
as I was saying, there's another franchise that's getting a sequel that's about 30 years old. And I'm talking about the Beverly Hills Cop franchise.
Oh, yes.
The fourth one has been confirmed by Paramount, and it's coming out on March 25th, 2016. I love the Beverly Hills Cop franchise, except for the third one. But I love Beverly Hills Cop 2. It's way funnier than the first one. It's shot beautifully. The cinematography is amazing. There's character arcs that you question yourself, especially with Rosewood. I mean, he goes off the wall in this film. He changes like automatically from the first film. It's funny. There's a couple of funny scenes in there.
Is that the one where he goes to the Playboy Mansion?
Yep, he meets Hugh Hefner. Yep, a nice little cameo there. Oh man. Oh, good times. Good times. I just love watching this film. It just makes me happy. There's a scene where he has to get information about something, and he meets into Guilford Godfrey. That whole scene where he has to con the man to get on his computer, and just like Eddie Murphy was prime in the 80s, and this film was like 100% on the dime. That's why I love Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the fourth film has actually an interesting history in general. Because originally, let me go back. I want to end with this. After the success of the first film, they wanted to make a series out of it, a TV show. Eddie Murphy's like, no, man, I'm going to make a sequel, man. So
I'm gonna go and make a sequel.
Beverly Hills Cop 2.
And it looks
I'm
like
gonna
they
make
had a
movies in
TV
TV
movie.
show.
Beverly Hills Cop 2 was made. I don't really care about Beverly Hills Cop 3. I'm not going to talk about it. It just a freaking Disney World like ripoff. Like
I already brought Bobcat out. Let's not bring him out again, please.
Good. Thanks. Like I said, I'm gonna skip over that. But now, recently.
George Lucas was in it.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
Nice little.
I call that sequel the random director's cameo because they
Yes, yes. I know what you're talking about. Yes. Oh my
Joe
god.
Dante and a few others. It's like, what?
Yeah, they're all in a bar, and they're all sitting all across, and they're watching the TV. Oh man. But recently, there's been talks of a TV show they would make with having Axel Foley with his son at Detroit Police Department. And I was kind of excited for it. I was like, okay, let's see what's gonna happen. You know, Axel's son. You know, it's better than Shaft with nephew.
Easy boy.
Yeah.
So they made a pilot, and they were shopping around networks, and they went to CBS. And if I quote, CBS did not pick it up. But one of the co-stars says why they passed it was, I think we were very edgy for CBS. I think we were the edgiest you could ever win for CBS. It would have been like Fresh Prince thing on CBS, like the edgiest you can go on network TV, but it doesn't agree to our franchise, man. So I read that the people at Paramount loved what Eddie Murphy was doing in the pilot of the TV show, and they're like, you know what? Let's make a fourth film. Bing!
Okay, so that's why. So
Hey,
that's
man,
why
if it
we
were-
have apparently Barry Sonnenfeld directed the pilot.
Hey man,
I believe so, yeah.
Hey man, if it worked for Men in Black 3, it can work for Beverly Hills Cop 4. Deal with it.
Mm.
Yeah, it was
You
actually
just don't know your business.
it was actually being
You were just a
produced.
you were just being sequel racist.
Oh yeah, you are right, James. Yeah, but yeah. I just thought I'm excited for Beverly Hills Cop 4. But I don't know about Brett Ratner directing. I mean, I don't like Brett Ratner. Rush Hour and Rush Hour 2, Rush Hour 3.
Rush Hour 1, funny. Rush Hour 2, funny. Rush Hour 3, uncomfortable and meh.
Oh, I like the crying game joke. That kind of got a laugh. Damn, you mean no Rush Hour 3?
It's
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a history with I have a history with Beverly Hills Cop in general because I was such a huge fan of the original film. I went to audition for a play at my high school, and guess what monologue I chose? The one from Beverly Hills Cop.
Mm,
You know which monologue I'm talking about?
I don't think so.
lay
Honestly.
on.
The monologue was, "Don't you?" And all right, let me set up the scene. So the original movie, Axel's friend gets murdered. He goes to Beverly Hills to investigate. So he's going to a hotel. He doesn't have a reservation. So he goes up to the desk. He's like, "Don't you think I realize what's going on here, miss? Who do you think I am, huh? Don't you think if I knew if I was some hotshot from Atlanta just pulled inside here and you made some reservation mistake, and I'd be the first one to get a room, and I'd be upstairs relaxing right now. But I'm not some hotshot from Atlanta. I'm a small reporter from Rolling Stone magazine that's in town to do an exclusive interview with Michael Jackson. But that's gonna be picked up by every major magazine in the country. I was gonna call the article Michael Jackson sitting on top of the world, but now I think I might as well just call it Michael Jackson can sit on top of the world just as long as he doesn't sit in the Beverly Palm Hotel because there's no niggers allowed in there."
Ooh.
Can we keep that in? Can we even keep that in? I think we just crossed a
What?
line there.
Don't worry.
Don't
You didn't say what you think you said. Don't worry.
don't
No. Back to the tours. Back to the tours. Yes. I know it's extremely racist, but please, we might be able to bleep it out.
don't.
Oh, snap, guys. LT's blown up my phone now.
Sorry, man. I mean, if you're auditioning for something, never ever use this monologue. I didn't get the part, and I don't even remember what the play was. So
Don't you be putting the sass in Sasquatch. That's that filth this mouth cinema snob's job.
Remember,
No, the cinema.
according to the goodies, the correct term is knick-nogs.
No, the cinema
Yes.
snob's job is to pretty much review naked.
And with that, let's end this long discussion about sequels.
Ooh. There's another franchise we didn't bring up. Hint, hint. I think I know where this is going, Mike.
Oh.
Star Trek.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
So the next episode, it's gonna be in 2 weeks. It's gonna be right after a certain movie comes out, and we might as well homage that whole coming out reboot of an awesome franchise.
All right, guys, you know what to do. Get ready
Yep.
to launch the Zilla.
Got it.
Ready? And now.
He says he jerk. My God. I just
Um,
need to back. Fudge, nabbit. Fudge. No.
all right. So in 2 weeks from now, Godzilla is coming to theaters, and we might as well honor the episode by not. Well, I was gonna make it a little generalized besides Godzilla because there's a lot more to talk about besides Godzilla. I want to make it generalized by having giant monster films. If we talk about Godzilla plus the other giant monster films that we have been blessed with.
Okay, well, that means Morgan and I are watching Reptilicus.
Wait, what? Is it that
Oh, I
shitty
know what-
CGI?
Oh, I know what to.
It's the Swiss monster movie, I think.
I think I know very well which one to talk about for next time. And just to give you a little hint, it's as big as a battleship.
Oh.
Damn it!
What?
I wanted Ray Harryhausen.
Oh.
Get it? Because you know,
No,
it's,
no, I know.
it's like a Ray Harryhausen puppet. So
Don't worry.
yeah,
Oh, the one that I'm talking about?
I know which one you're talking about. I just
I know which one I'm talking about, and I loves it.
So we're excited for the next episode. I don't think should we do another part of sequels, or have we done it to death?
it's done.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
It is done. We already had ourselves. We already had Murray. We already had Bobcat. I think it's done to death at this point.
All right, good. That's what I wanted to figure out. So thank you for that. I'm Mike, and stay classy, YouTube.
See you later, dudes.
Ciao for now, y'all.
I'm gonna have a date with your mothers.
Well then.
Seriously, later, folks.